Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Hundreds of Santas, to be more exact, are coming to the town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Yes, it's March, but that means it's time for the biannual Santa family reunion. We'll talk to one of the people who make this magic happen right after the break. So get your cookies and milk, and we'll be right back for today's Zuzu All Grown Up.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you believe that life is wonderful in principle, but for some reason just isn't so consistently in practice? Every life will have its ups and downs. But have you ever thought that if there were only more people around you encouraging, uplifting, and even inspiring you, then life would be more fulfilling? If only people like George and Mary Bailey were in your inner circle, then life could truly be wonderful all the time? If so, we've got good news for you, because you can find such people on this podcast and at zuzunetwork.com. This podcast is the vision of Karolyn Grimes, Zuzu, and Dr. Chris Brunell, illustrating how the timeless message of It's a Wonderful Life can be and is applied to our modern lives and situations. Indeed, when you take that message to heart, your life will become immeasurably more wonderful. Visit us at zuzunetwork.com and listen to this podcast series to learn more about how. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu, All Grown Up.
We're joined today by Trish Parris, co-director of the Santa Family Reunion, a biannual event for Santas, Mrs. Clauses, and elves that takes place in the amazing town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And for people who are in Gatlinburg right now, listening to the show and not part of this reunion, this should explain a lot to you. Trish Parris, thank you for joining us today. Karolyn and Chris, over to you.
We have Trish Parris, and she's a co-director of the Santa Family Reunion. Now, this is a huge operation. She, along with the owner-director, Sherry Heath, and their team, are a very dedicated group of holiday performers sharing the spirit of Christmas. I've seen pictures on their website. There are Santas galore, and they have workshops. They have all kinds of things. They learn how to be Santa Claus, and they get all kinds of an education in this wonderful place. Can you share what your Santa Family Reunion is and how it got started?
Well, we started in 2017 when we broke off from a previous convention that had been held for Christmas performers. And we kind of picked it up and rolled with it at that point, changed the name, tweaked a few things. But we invite all Christmas performers from all over the world to attend. We call it the Santa Family Reunion because we feel like we're all one big family. We all have a lot of different talents in a lot of different areas, and we like to share that knowledge with each other so we can make Christmas the most special, memorable event for anyone who's young or young at heart.
How many usually come to your function?
Well, we have it every other year, and we have around 600 plus. I think as many as 7 different countries.
I guess they have different names too, like St. Nicholas.
They go by the name that they're known in their area, but we all know Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, Santa Noel, Santa Claus, on and on and on.
How do you advertise this event?
It's mainly on our website and through word of mouth. There are other Santa schools out there that are much smaller. We've been doing this a while now, and word gets out, and one Santa discusses it with somebody else. And like I said, we put it on our website, and we try to keep the website up and going all the time so that people know when the next one's going to be. In fact, when we have this one in March, we'll announce the one that's going to be in 2 years. People from far away have plenty of time to plan and come join us.
Well, is there an international group of Santas and Mrs. Clauses and elves that also attend? I'm assuming that's what you were referring to.
We've had them from Canada, Mexico, Israel. I think we had one from Denmark.
Wow, that's an extensive reach.
So do you have reindeer too?
They are very busy at the North Pole practicing their games and
singing their song.
Absolutely.
So do you know who the oldest attendee is?
I'm not positive about the actual oldest, but I will say we have some Santas that are in their mid 80s. And back in, I think it was 2019, our youngest Santa was 17.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. So what are the criteria for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and elf to attend? I mean, what do they have to do?
To be an attendee, the only requirement is that they are a working Christmas performer, Santa, a Mrs. Claus, or an elf, and that they want to learn.
Who are the teachers that teach them how to do this?
So when we do this, we put out a call and ask for experienced Santas who specialize in a particular area, be our workshop teachers. We have working with special needs children. We have sign language. We have wardrobe and hair and makeup, believe it or not. Working with clients, how to write contracts, storytelling, simple magic that Santa can use to enhance visit with the children. We have classes on history. We have classes on ethics. We actually do a little bit of the singing and some ho-ho-ho intermittent between classes. When we have a large group of them together, we'll have them do a little fun stuff like that.
And I imagine you have to have a nice smile and a sparkle in your eye.
Yes. The most important thing is you have to have it in your heart.
Is there a special certification or anything that these Christmas performers can earn?
We do not do any kind of certification because we have Santas, like I said, from the very first guy at 17 years old who's come for the first time to guys who've been doing this for 50 years or more. So we don't do any kind of certification. We don't do any kind of awards. It's basically completely designed to be non-competitive. We want all of our people, regardless of how experienced or inexperienced they are, to be able to share what they know and what they've learned with everybody else.
I went on your website and I saw a picture of the last convention, and there were so many Santas in there, and they all look different. Their beards were different. They all have a different look, and I'm sure they have a different persona as well. So it would be really exciting to meet all these different people that are all about the spirit of Christmas. I think that's really charming.
We have so many people that are from so many different walks of life, and they also visit with their friends and their children in their areas, and that's so different too, all across the country. We have Santas that are completely Hispanic because that's where they focus on visiting with the children. So their stories, their look, the way they dress, everything is based around that, what works for them in their area. But it also helps when they come and join us at a convention like this, because that way they can share what they do. They can learn what another Santa does. It might be completely different, but it's still Santa. I don't care how many different outfits these guys wear. A child will look at him and they go, there's Santa. There could be 10 of them in a room, and that child will pick out the person he thinks is Santa. That's kind of like a unwritten rule we have. You never say, I'm Santa. You ask the child, who do you think is Santa? And whoever he picks, that's Santa. The children know, and each child will pick out somebody different most of the time.
What is the Santa and Mrs. Claus oath? Or is that a secret only known by those who attend the family reunion?
It is a very meaningful oath that we take as Santa and Mrs. Clauses to make sure that we're in our own mind, we're understanding it's about the children. It's not about anybody's ego. It's not about how fancy you look or how much money you spend on your outfit. It's about making that child feel the magic of Christmas.
You really take that pretty much to heart again. So we understand that there will be a fashion show and an auction at the reunion. Can you share what that involves in both of those?
Anyone can sign up for it. And it's basically just to give the Santas and the Mrs. Clauses and elves an opportunity to look at different styles and designs, different fabrics to make their outfits off. Because sometimes, again, depending on where they are, like in the South right here, it's very difficult for my Santa to wear a wool. So his is made of a much lighter weight velvet that he can stay much cooler in. We do activities all year round. We do photos at the beach, surfing with Santa. We do golfing with Santa. So he has a golfer's outfit. He has a Santa swimsuit. Just a little about sharing, what different people look at and what they use in their area to give you ideas.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at ZuzuNetwork.com/shop.
Join Zuzu's network today at ZuzuNetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at ZuzuNetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
We have, I think right now, about 40 separate vendors. They come and they set up in the convention, and they provide opportunities for our attendees to purchase outfits, all kinds of props, belts, buckles, the ladies' jewelry, headbands for the Mrs. Clauses. I mean, boots, socks, you name it, anything that can be used for that. Vendors will donate items, and then we have a lot of our attendees who will bring Christmas-related items. We set up an auction and we auction it off, and all the money goes to the Smoky Mountains Children's Home in Pigeon Forge.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
We also have Toys for Tots, and they come and set up a table and take donations, and our attendees bring toys, unwrapped new toys for them to do the same thing in the Smoky Mountain area. Yes.
Can you tell us about your Santa Family Reunion Memorial Scholarship and who's eligible to receive that?
We have had several Santas over the years who have donated money to us to provide a scholarship. People that are eligible is any Christmas performer who has not been able to attend a major school or reunion or convention due to lack of funds. And we want to be able to use that scholarship money to bring them to something like this so they can experience and take the classes that they're interested in, learn other things from other Santas.
So do you require the participants to dress in their official holiday attire during the reunion?
This year, it's March the 29th through April the 1st. Now, they will bring some of their suits with them to take photographs with a photographer who may be set up as a vendor or to go be in the fashion show. We typically just dress in regular everyday attire. And to be honest, most of that is either red, green, or gold or silver.
Are you a Mrs. Claus?
I am.
Do you make your own costume?
I make some of my husband's, but I make almost all of mine.
I think that would take a lot of talent.
A lot of the attention goes to Santa Claus.
Yes.
And it seems like Mrs. Claus is like an afterthought. How do you deal with that?
Just to be funny, I actually have a bumper sticker on my refrigerator, and it's an elf who looks like he's mad, and he says, "What's the deal? Santa gets all the credit." Personally, that's okay, because that's what the children are there for. You very rarely ever hear a child say, "I want to go see Mrs. Claus and tell her what I want for Christmas." But sometimes Mrs. Claus is the handiest person to have around, because there are children who are scared of Santa. If you think about it, we teach our kids to not talk to strangers, and you certainly are not going to go up and get them sit on their knee. Mrs. Claus is the nice grandmotherly figure. I can walk out into a line and almost tell you exactly which children are going to stop dead still when they get to the front of the line. And I'll talk to them. I'll get them kind of at ease a little bit. And sometimes I'll take them by the hand, and sometimes they'll sit with me and talk to Santa who's sitting on my side. And they'll never sit with him, but they'll talk to him because they're over here on my other side. Mrs. Claus has come a long way in the last 10, 15 years. If we could just get everybody else on board.
Do you have classes for the elves too?
I think we've only had a couple of elves who have been over the years, but they pretty much will go to the same classes that Santa and Mrs. Claus have, because a lot of the information is going to be the same. We actually have 2 classes. They're called a round table, where we get all the Santas at the convention, all the men in one room. And I shouldn't say men, because we do have some female Santas.
I was going to ask you about that, but I'm glad you brought it up.
We gather all the Santas together in one room, and we gather all the Mrs. Clauses in the other room, and we don't let the 2 meet. And then we let them hash out problems that they have with each other. And then we share ways to fix those issues. My Santa includes me in everything. Every conversation, every talk we have, whether it's with the children or their parents, I'm right there in the middle of it. But we have a lot of Santas who have worked alone for years. We have Mrs. Clauses now who work alone without a Santa. And sometimes when the 2 get together, they're not necessarily on the same page, but they need to be, because the children are expecting them to be a couple.
Yeah.
When you say Santa and Mrs. Claus, you automatically assume, even though we know not to assume, that they're a couple. It's handy to hash out little things, because something might have happened to one couple that didn't happen to another, and they can discuss it. And, oh, well, we can change this and make this work better. I've actually had a little girl who was so shocked when she found out that I was actually married to Santa Claus. When she asked me who I was, and I told her Mrs. Claus, and she said, "Oh, you're Santa's mother." And I said, "No, I'm his wife." And she completely freaked out on us and went running off the stage screaming, "She's married to Santa."
What has been the best part of being involved with the participants of the Santa Family Reunion group?
I get to meet so many people from so many different walks of life, from so many different parts of the countries, and I hear their stories. We tell everybody that when my Santa and I meet someone new that's in the Santa community, and they ask us about going to one of these conventions, if it's worth it. And we tell them, go to every convention, every school that you can afford to go to, because 90% of the things that you will learn at that school will be things you learn from each other and not necessarily the instructors.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life. But you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club.
This is Zuzu, all grown up.
We have some amazing instructors, and they give out great information. Sitting down with another person at a table over dinner and sharing stories about things that happened, and you pick up so many tidbits of information. In our case, we're very lucky because those instructors that we have, they do the same thing. They pick up tidbits of information, put it all together, and then apply it to everybody. It's just seeing the journey that a lot of these people go through as Santa and Mrs. Claus. We've lost a lot of our Santas over the last several years due to illnesses. And we have a lot of new people coming up. We have a lot of new people scheduled to be at our next reunion in March. And it's just going to be so nice to see the light bulb come on when they ask a question and somebody gives them an actual honest to goodness answer. Because when you're new and you're starting out, you don't know what to expect. A child comes up and says something to you that should be told to a pastor or a school teacher, and you don't know how to react to that. You know, Santa knows all. I'm sure you've heard of kids who say, well, I know you don't know how to do this, but Santa will know how, or he'll know the answer. It's just really nice seeing the journey and seeing how people talk and share the information. And that's what we've always been about at Santa Family Reunion, is sharing everything that we know.
For the most part, I thought that a lot of Santa Clauses were just, Brenda Santa. You just go in there and sign up for being a Santa Claus. It's a hit and miss. This is to the core of being a really genuine article. Quite frankly, every one of those Santa Clauses comes away a better Santa.
The very first time we ever were Santa and Mrs. Claus was because a school that our daughter went to, their Santa had a massive heart attack weeks before the event, and they couldn't find anybody. I was a kindergarten teacher. I had retired from the Marine Corps, and my husband was retired from the Marine Corps and had worked with Federal Service, and we were both big volunteers at the school. They asked us to do it, to step in because of who we were. They knew us. They trusted us. We knew the kids at the school, and my Santa had the belly. And they asked us if we would do it because they were in a bind. They'd already sold tickets for this breakfast with Santa. And to be honest, we're both Marines and we were terrified to do this because we didn't know what we were doing. This was something totally out of our field. And after that very first time of sitting on the stage and those kids coming and looking up at us and asking us questions and telling us things that their parents probably didn't want us to know, we came home and we were just absolutely floored. And we were like, oh, if we're going to ever do this again, we have got to learn what to say. And we never dreamed that we would continue doing that. But that's the whole purpose behind Santa Family Reunion, is we want the people who've been doing it to be able to mentor the people coming up so that we can keep it somewhat consistent. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. We want the children to really have that imagination and believe in the magic of Christmas. Years ago, before there were any conventions, we had a gentleman who put on one convention in Branson. Everybody liked it so much that we had a couple other Santas who decided to put one on, and one put one on in Gatlinburg. When he decided not to do it again, another couple picked it up because we loved the way that Gatlinburg was so good to us. The people at the convention center were good to us. The townspeople welcomed us with open arms and made it easy for us to have the convention there. We talked to different people who had been before and other people, and they said, just keep it there. It was kind of a central location on the East Coast for us to do it. And there is one other major organization, the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas. They put on another convention similar to ours. They have one year, we have ours the next year. But we stay in one place, and iBurbs, they move to different cities.
Well, if any of our listeners are interested in participating in your next reunion, can you provide your website, please?
It is santafamilyreunion.com. santafamilyreunion.com.
Well, that's great. We thank you so much for joining us today. I think I'm in the Christmas spirit for sure now.
If you guys happen to be in Gatlinburg, you are welcome to come jump in and hang out with us.
Thank you so much. We just might show up. You never know.
Thank you, Trish Parris, co-director of the Santa Family Reunion, and to Karolyn and Chris for today's interview. What can I say but ho, ho, ho. We hope the whole Santa family is enjoying the reunion and that you have enjoyed this very special episode of the podcast. I'm Seth Kennedy, not Santa Claus, and you've been listening to Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life and you'd like to share it with others, go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out zuzunetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to zuzunetwork.com/transcripts.
Watch a video clip of today's episode at www.instagram.com/Zuzu all grown up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu all grown up. Then click on the Reels tab from the top of the center of the page. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at www.instagram.com/Zuzu all grown up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu all grown up. Catch up on past episodes and discover currently premiering and upcoming episodes as well, and get helpful links and exclusive clips from our recordings. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu all grown up.
Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joelle.
Managing producer Karina Filatova. A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.